Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be focusing on the top 5 PvP vehicles in the game. There's a lot of vehicles in this game, there's a lot of selection, but the vehicles in this video are the ones that I would most recommend to players. And I feel like everyone does the top 5 vehicles videos, it's super common, so I thought about how I could change mine. And the way I'm going to change mine is I'm going to be adding the weaknesses to these vehicles too. I see GT Online free mode as a bit of a game of chess in my head. And I feel like understanding a vehicle is really important. Understanding its pros, its cons, also understanding how to overcome it and what are its weaknesses. You can be really good on the Oppressor Mark II, for example. However, if you come across a Deluxo, you're going to lose 90% of the time. So it's important to have that knowledge in your head and understanding when it's time to just bail out of the vehicle and leave it there, or try and fight them head on. I also want to say as well, it's important to understand multiple vehicles in the game. It's okay to get good at just one vehicle, but it's also important to not just be a one-trick pony. You're going to be really boring if you're just only good at a Deluxo or something like that. So try and get creative, learn other things in the game, do things that are uncomfortable, and also try and learn non-meta vehicles. There's lots of vehicles that I have fun on this game that aren't particularly the most powerful vehicles in the game, but they're still really fun to use. The first vehicle I wanted to put on this list is a vehicle that you don't need to buy anything prior in order to get it. It's super cheap, it's labeled for I think 1.2 million on Warstock. It's just very accessible to new players in the game who just don't have a lot of money yet and need a way to defend themselves while also still being able to hold their own. Back in the day, this was the Mark II Fly Swatter. I've killed so many Mark IIs with this vehicle, and to this day it still holds its own as one of the best vehicles in the game. Not only is it fast, but it has a lot of ramming power, and it takes a whopping 26 homing missiles to blow up. So it means basically if a Mark II comes attacking you, they're not going to blow you up with the missile capacity that they have. Keep in mind it does have to be fully upgraded to take 26 missiles. If you don't have it upgraded, it takes about half that amount. One of the most important things I can stress about the Nightshark is to not have armor plating on the windows. You'll see a lot of Nightsharks in free mode that have the full upgrade armor plating, and I personally think you should not. The reason I say this is because when you have full armor plating, it severely restricts your access to the weapon wheel, whereas when you have no armor plating, you have access to your entire normal secondary weapon wheel, which is all of your pistols, and most importantly, your sticky bombs. Sticky bombs in a Nightshark is like peanut butter and jelly. It's your best offensive weapon in the vehicle. Getting good at throwing sticky bombs is super important and also a very valuable skill in this game. Once you understand the concept of it and the physics of it, you can get some really amazing kills on here. Another huge bonus as well with the Nightshark is the fact that you have no radar blip, which means basically no one can tell that you're in a Nightshark because you don't have a special radar blip for, say, for example, an Imani Tech vehicle or a B11 or Mark II. Like, people can see you on the radar and see that you're in that vehicle, whereas when you're in a Nightshark, you have the element of surprise because no one will know you're in it until they're right up next to you. Now let's get into the weaknesses of this vehicle. Since this vehicle is a huge armor tank, you're not going to succeed by trying to blow it up with a Mark II or a helicopter. Your best chance against a Nightshark is shooting the driver out. I'm sure if you've played in free mode, you've come across that annoying ass Nightshark driver who all he does is just try and run you over and over again. The simplest defense I have against that is just get behind something that the Nightshark driver can't run over, whether that be a tree or a pole. Wait behind that pole for him to come up to you, and as soon as he does, take out your weapon and just fire him out. It's the easiest way to take out a Nightshark driver. So yeah, there's no point in trying to blow up the Nightshark. Your best chance is always just shooting the driver out. The next vehicle I have on this list is the Imani Tech vehicles. The Imani Tech vehicles, if you guys remember when this update first came out, it was revolutionary for the game. And the biggest reason why is because you can't lock on to the Imani Tech vehicles when you have the anti-lock-on upgrade. I can honestly say when the Imani Techs were introduced to free mode, it forever changed the way we played the game and how we PvP now. There's a lot of different Imani Tech vehicles in the game, which is why I'm kind of putting this under a general list. However, I'm going to put a stats list up here of what I personally recommend for Imani Tech. However, I'd encourage you guys to do your own research as there's 18 vehicles of Imani Tech in the game, so lots to choose from. Not only can you equip the missile lock-on jammer, there's also the option of the remote control unit, which you can kind of see above here on my list. That's also super useful if you want to get a nurse seat car, you can go off radar, and you can mess some people up really badly if you want to. Now the Imani Tech vehicle ties into the Nightshark in a lot of similarities, and one of that is also using the power of sticky bombs. And the really cool trick I'm going to show you guys here ties into really anything in the game, and not a lot of people know about it. If you can see here, I'm throwing these sticky bombs, and you see how far they're flying. They're going super far, whereas when I'm still, they fly way less farther in the air. This is a very important part of the game to understand, especially in PvP, because as soon as you understand how far Sticky Bomb can throw, it really does help you get more kills and understanding that to take out a Mark II, maybe you need more momentum, maybe you need to go slower. It's a very cool little nugget of knowledge on this game, and I always love showing players this little trick. I honestly can't really emphasize enough how fun it is to understand sticky bombs and use them on this game. You get some of the most funniest kills, like this. Now, like I said, the pros and cons of this vehicle tie heavily into the Nightshark. And just like the Nightshark, your best chance of killing someone that's in an Imani Tech vehicle is to shoot them out. A great counter tip I have for both these vehicles is equipping full metal jacket rounds. You can unlock this through bunker research, and the reason why I recommend this is because you can damage not only just the vehicles they're driving, but also it makes it significantly easier to pierce through windows. I got this great clip today actually kind of showcasing exactly what I'm trying to tell you guys. I saw this guy approaching, got behind the palm tree, and immediately just shot him out with a full metal jacket round. Granted, I got BST in here, but he just folded basically instantly. So yeah, if you see an Imani Tech vehicle that's trying to kill you, just get out, get behind something, and just shoot them out. The next vehicle I have on this list is honestly a bit too powerful. If it were up to me, I would actually nerf this vehicle because I think it's actually just too powerful in the game. This of course is the Raiju, which if you've played GTA Online for even 2 minutes, I'm sure you've seen this thing, it's everywhere. Not only does it have a VTOL mode where it can switch from flying horizontally to vertically, it also has a stealth mode, so you can never see where someone is on the map when they're using it as long as they have that stealth mode activated. On top of that, it's also the fastest thing in the game, so you can absolutely smoke anyone and just absolutely outrun them if you want to get away from them. It is a very expensive purchase on the game, but not only does it come with explosive rounds, it also comes with homing rockets, and you can get some pretty funny kills with the homing rockets on here. If you use the minimap as a guide of where you think that person's going to be and fire that rocket, there's nothing more satisfying than a kill like that. On top of that, if you're a good pilot, it's basically the best dogfighter in the entire game now. Don't get me wrong, I love the B11 and the Starling as always, but the Raiju is just way more agile, more fast, and just overall better in every way. Now let's get into the weaknesses. There isn't really a lot. I mean, your best counter against a Raiju is another Raiju, but on top of that, you can also fire some homing missiles at it when you're on the ground, some explosive snipers, and most of all, I'd recommend the railgun. The railgun is just my go-to for really any aerial vehicle. Whenever I'm in a sticky spot when I'm on the ground, I see a helicopter, railgun. If I see a plane, railgun. Anything, just railgun. Specifically for the Raiju, the railgun takes 2 shots to take it out of the sky. But yeah, the Raiju is a great vehicle, but I hope down the road Rockstar does give a little bit of a nerf to it. The next vehicle I have on this list is the Toreador. It is honestly one of my favorite vehicles in this entire game. It's equipped with powerful machine guns, pretty goddamn decent missiles, and along with that, it's also submersible, so you can take it underwater with you. It can also sit up to 4 people, and it has a decent amount of armor on it, which is honestly pretty rare for a vehicle of this stature. It's a great counter to Mark IIs, it's a great counter to Deluxos, it's a great counter to a lot of things, and also it has great defensive capabilities. My good friend Gunman is a huge fan of this vehicle, and he's gotten some pretty insane kills with this thing.
Oh, I got him!
I would say the biggest weakness the Toreador has is getting behind it. As soon as you get behind a Toreador, you're going to get the jump and you're going to kill them most of the time. The Toreador isn't as agile as something like the Deluxo, so if a Deluxo gets behind a Toreador and starts firing a couple missiles, that Toreador just doesn't have enough time to turn around most times, react to it, and kill the Deluxo back. It's honestly very situational. I would just say if you're in a Toreador, be wary, be aware that you're vulnerable from behind, and it goes for the opposite for if you're trying to battle a Toreador, you want to get behind them. Another thing to be aware of as well is when you're in a Toreador, you don't have access to your secondary weapons, so anyone else in the passenger, including you yourself and the driver, you don't have access to your pistols or your stickies, so you are at a bit more of a disadvantage compared to other people. Now last on the list is my personal bread and butter. Over the past couple years, I've become really comfortable with Deluxo, and it's become one of my favorite things in the game for PvP. In the current state of free mode, you're constantly running into Mark IIs, and Deluxo is just, in my opinion, the best way to handle Mark IIs. They will stand no chance. As you can see here, here's my friend firing a bunch of missiles at me. I just dodge them like no problem. Just simply fly towards them, fly a bit downwards, or flying up to simply dodge them, and just fire one missile and you'll normally get them 90% of the time. You can never really quite underestimate how stupid Mark II users are sometimes, because I swear to God, no matter how many times I kill a Mark II user, they always come right back on their Mark II, come right back to my Deluxo, and they lose every single time. It's also an absolute beast against ground targets. Over the years, I've kind of developed a technique where I start to fly towards them, switch to first person, exit hover mode, drift down, and just fire just like that, and you get some insane kills with it. Honestly, whenever I'm helping my friends sell or I'm selling myself, my go-to sell vehicle to defend in is the Deluxo. It keeps griefers at bay, especially when you have to sit on them because they're not going to stop going after your product. It also has some of the most accurate missiles in the game. More accurate missiles than the Mark II, more accurate missiles than the Toreador, and so on. There's very few missiles that are more accurate than it. I believe the only one that beats it out is the Ruiner 2000. Now let's get into the weaknesses. The biggest weakness the Deluxo has is the armor. It only takes one homing rocket, one railgun shot, one sticky bomb to blow up. That's it, and you're done. That's something I'd be mindful of when you're fighting ground targets in this thing, is because if you get anyone who's decent in a railgun, you're most likely going to die as soon as you approach them in a Deluxo, and on top of that, any sort of jets with explosive rounds, you're going to die. Also, you should be really aware of any Toreadors in the area, because as soon as a Toreador gets a jump on you, you're most likely going to lose the battle. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Deluxo on this game, personally. It's just great against so many vehicles and can counter so many things. And once you understand how to use it and understand the concept of it, it's really, really fun. Now, as I talked about in the beginning of this video, these vehicles are all super meta and super OP. However, I'd recommend you just try other things in the game that aren't exactly meta. For example, I'm a big fan of using the Fagio because it's just such a meme vehicle and there's nothing more fun when you get kills with it. I'm going to put up a list on the screen here of vehicles that I still really enjoy using in free mode that aren't exactly meta, but like I said, they're really fun to use, and I would encourage that you guys try other things in this game. Don't just use the overpowered things. I mean, honestly, everyone has opinions on what they think is good on this game and what's not. I just like to have fun. Like, there's nothing better than being on a Fagio in a little pink bikini and just getting the most memey kill on a tryhard. There's no right or wrong way to play this game, honestly. The reason I'm just making this video is for players to have more understanding about the free mode PvP and just how in-depth it can really get. But yeah, that's the video for you guys. I also just want to take the end of this video to just say thank you for the insane amount of support I've been giving over the past couple days. Ever since I made that grinding guide video, my channel's just kind of blown up. I've like reached 300 subscribers in just a couple days. On top of that, that video's reached like I think 6,000 views since I last checked it. I can't tell you guys how much I really do appreciate you commenting and interacting on the videos. It's great to see that people are learning things and they just enjoy the content. I've played this game for a really long time now, and I find I just enjoy helping other players in the game now and getting them started on here. So I really just enjoy passing down what I know to other people and helping them out in any way I can, especially because this game has a really toxic player base. It's nice to just help others out on how to defend themselves, and just in general gain more knowledge about the game. I'm always looking to help people, and if you guys are on PlayStation, feel free to add me, send me a message that you came from the channel, and I don't mind helping you whenever you need it. And yeah, that's all I have for you. Thanks very much for watching, and have a good night.